Oh boy. I'm ready. I don't know about you, Bob, but
Oh,
that just
yeah.
you just kind of get it out, you're ready to go.
That's the only
Oh
way to do
boy.
it. Only way
Oh,
to
we
do
got
it.
CH in the house. What's up, CH? Doing some chores today. Bomb's gonna be cleaning up the back of his room there, I think, or something. Oh dear. Kevin B
Shoot.
filming the dance. Oh, we better not see that on any socials anywhere. Oh boy. Oh no.
Uh-oh.
We
That's
didn't even
scary.
think about the implications of doing that, Bomb. We gotta be careful. We gotta be real careful.
Oh, boy. That was close. Yeah.
Bomb rocking some Hello swag. Again, the Hello swag is awesome. That reminds me, we did not have any questions. We're going to talk about the community space today. We didn't have any questions about swag. We
That's
needed to
true.
ask about the swag and the merch. There were a lot of good questions, some very good answers, and some areas for speculation. So we're gonna dive in. I got all the questions that were asked. I think I got all of them, as well as all of the answers from the first Hello community space, which I just got to say right off the bat, I think it's awesome that we did that. Like, I think we were talking about, hey, we got to get the community more involved. We got to have this dialogue with the team. The team went ahead and did that. So I love that the team is just responding to what the community is saying and then implementing it as quickly as they are. So we're excited to dive into that. We got some fun. We got Piff in the house. What's up? Piff is here as well. Kevin said he's wearing the same hoodie. You guys are rocking it
Let's
right
go.
now. And you got the Killer Whales hat on as well. Yeah, we got to make that merch purchasable for the masses there, I think, for sure. So I have to ask, just on its head, I want to hear from chat. What were your thoughts about the first Hello community space, the chat that we had 2 days ago? Again, they indicated on the community space that these questions, like that are fielded from the community through the Telegram, which I thought was a very good setup, so that you could ask in live time, you could ask in advance, and they were going to answer those questions on the space. There were some heavy hitters. I really liked that. I liked that even the first question, like through the gate, it wasn't like, oh yeah, like what are your thoughts about Hello? Like, are you excited with everything upcoming? It was like, are there any plans for like getting in an exchange? Like, what are the plans for that? Like, I love that it kind of dove right into some of the things that the community has voiced in the Telegram. So awesome to see that was taking place. We got BDE in the chat as well. What's up, BDE? So first and foremost, the community space format. I want to hear from you guys, like what you guys thought about the format. Did you like having it where it was kind of going through the questions there and hearing the responses? Would you have preferred a little bit like where people could grab the mic? Do you think it was good that they did it where, it was kind of, you could ask questions in written form and those would be addressed, kind of like a typical AMA format? I want to hear from you guys on that. But diving right in, they said that these are going to take place about every 4 weeks or so. So it's going to happen about once a month. And I want to ask you, Baum, like, what are your thoughts about like kind of that sort of a format and kind of having that level of engagement with the community?
I think it's fantastic. I mean, I think we've talked about it every now and then on stream, but the ability that Hello is now saying, hey, we're going to have these spaces, like you said, every 4 weeks to kind of get together and talk about things. I mean, right off the bat, the first question came out about, wasn't it Killer? What was? Oh, the exchanges, the listings on exchanges, handled perfectly. But it's like, hey, this is a question that we've had in the past, and we've been talking about it, and it's answered for us right there. And so we have like being able to voice that and being able to say, hey, like, where are we at with this? What are we doing? Hello, community. Being able to have that voice is huge, but then also the team to be able to answer that, super good, and kudos to the team for doing that and setting up a stage for that to be able to take place, in all honesty. So I'm stoked about it. I love it, and it should really be something that the community gets behind, is like, oh yeah, we got a space that we can talk to the team and actually ask questions. So I absolutely love it. I thought it was fantastic.
Yeah, and we talked about this on the last stream, like the there should be a little bit more, like the community wants to see a little bit more like of a roadmap or an open dialogue, or
Yep.
like that's something that, we love the building that's going on behind the scenes, but it's nice to see the top end of a shovel when you know that there's a lot of work going on, and like you just see the work being done, right? Like
Yep.
from the top. You don't need to necessarily see what's going on in the actual building site. You're just seeing that, hey, there's activity, there are things being done, and like we're signposting, hey, this is the building that's eventually going to be this is eventually going to be that, and so on. So I really like that. Piff agreeing. I'm thankful that we are leveling up our voice. CH is saying, yes, roadmap. And I know that was something in the works. I think, so I'm just going to write these down. I mean, for the next community space, I think it'd be good to have that stuff good to go. So I've got roadmap down. I'm putting down merch as
I
well,
like
so
that.
we can see about having that evaluated for the next space. Hopefully that is toward the end of October, probably around Halloween or something like that. So putting those down. Anything else that you guys would want to ask the questions? Because it'd be good to, because I like the brainstorming session. We had a great one last week too. And I think it's helpful to have those dialogues about what do we as a community want to make sure this question gets addressed. And so let's make sure all the questions that we're feeling or thinking get put down into a list so that we can make sure nothing gets left out. Because I think there were still questions that they were going to get to, and there's a lot of good questions too that like we want to make sure. Like I think in the original AMAs with Paul, we had the opportunity to upvote certain questions, so those would get kind of priority. And I like that format. I don't know what you guys think about that, but the top questions that got the top votes were asked first. And I think if we did something similar in the Telegram, where we had it like question and then colon, so you could easily search it or something like that in the Telegram chat, all the different questions, then you could see, hey, which question do I want to upvote to have asked first? And the questions that got the most upvotes were asked first in the Telegram. I don't know if you guys think that that's a good kind of format, or if you guys have a better one, but I think that'd be cool, just so that like, because there's some that like I think we really want to know the answers to, and then there are others that it's like, if they have an answer, that's kind of cool, but if not,
Right.
no worries.
I was just going to say kind of on what Piff is saying right here, like, hey, progress is a process. I believe Finn was the one that said it a week or two maybe ago, where today's imperfection beats tomorrow's imperfection. No, today's imperfection beats tomorrow's perfection. There it is. Bingo. They're doing stuff where it's like we are getting some stuff that's actually flowing and going, whereas if we're just not doing anything, it kind of kills the vibe a little bit. So I'm stoked to see that, which is really cool, because it doesn't have to be perfect, but as long as we know as a community, like, oh, progress is taking place. Yes, I know Sandra was saying like there's certain things that they can't talk about due to NDAs and all that stuff, but we know like stuff is in the works, and there's now like there's a voice for the community, if you will, right? Where it's like they're talking and it's like a consistent flow of what's going on, and I love that. So
there's a voice for the community, if you will. Oh, I will. You guys know we will. When it comes to voicing certain things, it's great.
Yeah.
CH saying consistent marketing would be a good one. Got to get the word out. No one asked about heavier marketing in the community chat. This is still a missing element. I think that's a great thing to have that discussion point around the marketing. I put that down on the list as well, CH, like that stuff. Kevin saying we can ask Nathan if we could do a poll with the questions asked. I think that would be great. I mean, that would be great. What's the harm, like just throwing a poll of all the questions, you just put it into a poll, and whichever one gets the most votes is asked first, the second, third, fourth, and whatever. Because I think that those are the things that you can see actually in live time from the community's feedback. If you're not able to ask a live question or something like that, you at least know what the questions are that are most to the community's mind. Unlike someone asking like, hey, Paul, what kind of hair gel do you use, or something.
That was
like
a phase and a season of my life, Finn. Okay, that's all I'm gonna say.
You have matured greatly.
I have matured
the past few years.
That is true. We have grown tremendously, and I now have hair products until Paul's comes out that I'm okay with right now. So there you have it. That's where it's at.
There you go.
But what I was going to talk about real quick is crypto I don't know if you go by what do you go by Hezer, or is like I don't know what that is. That's the person, right? Same person that I'm thinking of from Twitter.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So I call him CH.
Oh,
I think
CH. I love
that's
that.
the reference that I've been making throughout the stream.
I knew that. I knew that. Sorry, I was just confirming. But CH, consistent marketing, got to get the word out. No one asked about heavier marketing in the community chat. This is still a missing element. Honestly, CH is doing a fantastic job. For those of you that are in the community, should be following CH on Twitter and should be using that as kind of a roadmap and a guide to be like, are we pushing this like we should be pushing this in terms of the community aspect, which even Sander went into on the first question, that like we as a community, if we're trying to get to certain exchanges, we need to create that like, oh my gosh, we're always talking about hello on Twitter. We're always talking about it because new stuff is coming, whatever that looks like. And I think CH is doing a fantastic job of that. Just need to, what?
I agree. Hold on, partially. But like, hold on. So there is a caveat to this. I remember listening to this and I was like, oh, like that's a good answer. But then I was like, wait a second. We were at like a whatever market cap and we had all the buzz and all that stuff. So I get that we're in a different position now. And
right.
I think Sanders, so I have Sanders' answer here, which I think was great. Sanders said that like the top 5 exchanges are commonly like in dialogue with them and they're asking them to like moderate certain panels and events and things like that. I think one of the things that I'm like, okay, where was the disconnect? Because I remember the community asking about like exchanges back when we were 100 million market cap, and they're like, "Hey, I think an exchange would take it to the next level." I remember CH there. I was there. Other people like were like, "Hey, an exchange 100% would be awesome right now." And I remember the feedback was like, "Well, if we were to do an exchange, there's a lot of stuff that like we would have to forfeit or like bend to," and I was like, I think it still is good. Like even if they sold all the amount that it would take to get listed, like I think it would be worth it. But so now I get the reasoning is we're more of a micro cap again. We're more of like this stuff and like we don't have as much visibility. But like what is the plan, I think is my question then, for when we're no longer a micro cap but we're 100 million. We're no longer a micro cap but we're 200 million. Like is it ready to push go when we're there, or is there another reason that's going to emerge that's going to keep us from doing that at that time? I think that is more the follow-up question that I would like to see, because we were there and I think people were asking more for that when we weren't in that more micro cap status. We were a little bit more medium, growing to that billion mark.
So
anyway,
100% agree with you. Real quick, I'm going to touch chat. Kevin said, can we ask Nathan if we can do a poll with the questions asked? I agree. I think that's fantastic. That's a great idea.
From Kevin, which is just expected at this point.
Obviously, just a quality person in the Hello community, really. I love that, Kevin. Way to go.
Same with Nathan. By the way, I got to say, Nathan, again, we say it like every stream, but it's like Nathan gets the community as well, like Kevin, in a way that is really refreshing. So just want to give you guys a shout out. That's awesome.
Guys,
Anyway, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
You're good. Hello, everyone with Rocket Chips. Gotta love it. Chip, what's up? Welcome. Piff2, BDE. Chris, you're also here. Love you, Chris.
Ian Rudius in the house. What's up, Ian Rudius?
And Ian Rudius.
Top 4 on the leaderboard.
We'll get to that. We'll get to that later. No, I still need to check that out. But, God, what was I talking? Oh yeah, the exchanges. Yes, I 100% agree. What happened previously was not what as holders wanted. 100%. I don't think that's how we wanted it to go. Taking that and looking to the future, it's now, okay, like you said, we're not big enough to where I think it makes sense right now, but we're still in the mindset of like, 100 million, like whatever that is. We're still in that mindset, I think, for holders a little bit, but we need to understand that like, okay, we kind of miss that wave, if you will, surfer term. Never been surfing, never could surf, but you kind of miss that wave. And I think as us now,
wait for the next swell.
Yeah, it is the next swell pretty much. But are we on the board, Finn? Are we on the board and we're ready to go? That's a good question to have, and I think that needs to be ready on. Okay, if we do start growing tremendously and really get back up to that 100 million market cap, are we then prepared to be like, all right, boom, we got the green button, we're good, we know, and we're surfing, you know? It's just surfing on the waves. Okay, I don't know
Yeah.
what's going on. Yeah,
No, I think with I mean taking out the acting out and standing up, I don't know. That looked pretty good to me.
yeah,
But even with that said, I think that's a good thing to be in dialogues about now, because I almost think our amount of growth caught us off guard in
mm,
terms of what we were prepared to do to sustain that amount of growth.
yep,
Because I think we kind of were like, oh, well, if it's gone to this thing and we're like more just like a meme or marketing token at this point, we have the utility through the show.
right,
Like, this is going to, just from people hearing about it, like it's going to keep going. But I think we talked about this on the last stream. We had that huge uptick, and then we didn't have the utility built in. We didn't have the visibility built in beyond that, or like the why stick around with this token,
right,
which I think having that game plan for when we get to this spot, are we lined up with the right contacts? Because what Sanders saying, right? They're asked to moderate these sessions. They're talking to these people. So I think having a roadmap for that would be very important to say, when we get here, X, Y, and Z is going to take place, or at least this is when we're going to push these certain things, because we know. I think they mentioned even like Binance is open to listing more like micro caps. And I
right.
think that's great. But again, now that we're where we're at, I almost want to see us get to a similar spot and then enact that plan, because I wasn't one of the people that said, oh, I think we should try to get on all these big exchanges when we're a, you know,
Yeah,
$20 million market cap. I don't see that there was any real value to be achieved in that sustained growth. I saw it more as being in, a little pop, but we probably wouldn't be able to get on the big exchanges. So I was kind of like, well, what's the point? But when we got to like the 100 million, 200 million, like we were in the
sure.
top, however many hundred on coin market cap in terms of crypto projects, I was kind of like, okay, this is where we press go and we like hit orbit. And then it was kind of like, well, we're not going to do it for this reason. So I think something around that, I don't want to dwell too long on that, but I
Yeah.
think something built into like a roadmap there would be a good indication of what's to come. For sure.
Here's the quick beauty about Hello to close this off. They understand and look at the past and then tweak it for the future, because they're like, all right, this could have been something that we could have done differently. Like, for example, season 2 of Killer Whales. Like, that is this, which is great about Hello, is they look at stuff like that and they tweak it, and then the future. That's why we like Hello, because of the stuff that tweaks, in my opinion. So, yeah.
Yeah.
But moving on real quick, I don't know what you had next, but I wanted to check out the leaderboard real quick, because I feel
Yeah,
like
let's
people are
go ahead
crushing
and
it.
segue to the leaderboard, and then I can go back to the list here.
All right, Doge Dash leaderboard. This is a weekly leaderboard. Keep in mind, reward pool is out of this world right now. Here we go. Ian Rudius in second place with 2,400
second.
tokens to be won.
Wow.
Huge scores here. Oh my gosh, look at you, Finn, right there on number 6.
Okay, well, and I'll tell you right now, I have done. So I have it written on the board over here.
Okay.
I have given into the pool 238 tokens, and so if I end in the top 10, that's almost 1,000 tokens profit that's going to be banked. So
Wow.
like Bomb's saying, like, this is a great prize pool. Be sure to
Now,
capture some of that prize pool on there. That's pretty incredible. It ends tomorrow in about, what is that, like 17 hours? It's going to
yes,
end a little
just
bit under 17 hours.
Yep.
Yeah.
16:30, 16 hours, 30 minutes, pretty much. Here's like you were saying. I just wanted to quickly point this out because I think we talked about it in the Telegram here. But for example, your score is 957,000. 10th is 635,000. That's almost half the price of tokens probably spent to play the game, and they're still getting the same amount as you.
Yeah, well, and that's what I'm saying. So
Right.
I'm gonna.
You're not gonna
stymie
play
my
again.
play.
Right.
Exactly. So exactly that, and that's what
So-
I mentioned, and Martin even replied that they're looking at that and
Yeah.
seeing what can be done about that, because I think it's great if by playing more you take the spot just above you.
Oh, I mean,
And,
there
like-
you'd play one more right now to be above Hans, and then Hans would play one like, and then you're like, oh
Exactly.
well, I can take fourth now. Like
Exactly.
that's what happens, right?
But
And
if
so
there's too big of a chasm between 4th from where you're at and 10th from where you're at, you're going to stay right where you're at.
Right.
Because you're like, I'm not going to be able to catch them, but
Right.
well, you might be able to, but it's a lot of gameplay and then you don't even know. But you're also like, and I'm safe from 10th right now.
yeah,
So I'm kind of good right where I'm at, and I don't want to sink more tokens to not, to make my reward a little bit lower on
Yeah.
that too. So yeah,
I-
it's cool. Again, like you said, everything that you share as a community member, it like gets addressed, and I think
Yeah.
that's the coolest thing about the Hello community and the Hello team is that it's returned a little bit more to what it was, and I think we lost a little bit of that on our uptick, which is natural. Like,
Yeah.
right? They're talking to all these people that it's like, hey, big KOLs, judges, and exchanges, and all that stuff. But it's nice to see, like, at least on a set process, like every 4 weeks or what have you, that's going to be like community voice for sure. They're heard throughout the Telegram, of course, as like normal business operations ensue, but it's nice to have that spot that is allotted for specifically hearing the community voice and answering
Yeah.
those questions. So really like that. Speaking of which, let's get to another question that was answered. Another question that was answered is, are there other IPs on the television side? They kind of said they have a couple that they like, I think referring to Crypto Cribs, which I don't know if that's going to be pursued, but they said that Killer Whales is the main product that they see the appeal with, and they're not really focusing on others at the moment. And I think that's evidenced by the fact that they're really looking at season 3 already as kind of being a backup to season 2. And to go alongside that, I want to bring up, because I think this kind of goes along with it, another question that was asked is, when is season 2 going to come out? And I want to get your thoughts on this, because I have my own, and I think this is an interesting discussion point.
Yeah.
They said episode 1 is finished, and it's been shared with their partners for feedback. They have a marketing schedule that's all ready to go, and that they would realistically be ready to go for it by the end of November, beginning of December. Like, it could be dropped, but they feel that it's probably not the best time, like with the election in the United States, and typically with crypto going into the holidays. They want to release the show, and the market is going up. They're speculating about February 2025 into March is going to be much more favorable to the market conditions, and then they want to push hard with marketing at that time. I have my own thoughts, and I want to hear everyone's thoughts in the chat as well. But I want to get to you, Bomb. Like, what is your take on that? Like, good, bad, kind of indifferent? Like, what is your immediate reaction?
Yeah. Let me close off Doge Dash real quick. One game is 300 tokens. If you're not playing Doge Dash, you need to play Doge Dash. You could be getting 300 tokens for just 1,000.
That's crazy.
Like, that's one level on Elite, and you get 300 tokens. Like, just FYI, keep that in mind. All right.
Wow.
Yeah. Back on that topic of release of Killer Whales 2. Love to hear what actually the chat has to say on that. I 100% agree. What are your guys' thoughts? For me personally, again, we don't know. Me personally, we don't. Me. This is me, guys. This is my opinion. Okay, just wanted everybody to know.
No one else's.
No one else's. This is just me.
Dear.
I don't know what they have already completely done, or what that looks like, or what the marketing plan looks like. If it's possible, I think we should have it out end of October, very beginning of November. I do understand what they're saying about the election, which does make it difficult, but I think if we're to wait till February, that is...
So I just want to say really quick, the reason behind like the stuff with the election isn't just like uncertainty or what might happen this way
just
or that
news.
way, but it's really about like being buried in the news
Right.
on like X and things like that, where it's like it's a lot harder to trend on crypto, who's typically crypto Twitter, but crypto
Yeah.
X, because the election, in a lot of ways, you're having like candidates either like, hey, we're pro Bitcoin or not, and so that's probably going to take like precedence in the news cycle
Yeah.
over getting pushed up, which I have to say, I didn't even consider to that detail that element of it, which is very true.
Yeah.
And so I do want to give credit there, because I think that that's a very good fact that if you do it
Right.
end of October, beginning of November, you're looking at November 5th is the election.
Right.
Like, that's probably going to take priority over any kind of news coming out. So anyway,
Yeah. I mean,
continue. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt
no,
that.
I agree, but I think that news is always going to be, there's always going to be news. There really will be. And I understand that election does make it so that there's more around the candidates and whatnot. But again, that's just in the US, and it does dominate Twitter a little bit, or X, but I think too it wouldn't hurt to really like release November. Like, let me put it this way. If the way the market is going right now continues in October, then I'm like, well, bro, let's get it out in November, like after the election. Sure, like stay in the shadows for the election, let that take place. November 10th rolls around, it's like, hey, we got a Killer Whales season 2 coming out. Like, that to me is like, if the market is continuing, it's like, okay, that is the exact same time where I'm thinking 100 million market cap exchange. This should also be the same of, okay, well, we're building up and it's another 10-20% for Bitcoin of the month for October or whatever. Why are we not jumping on that, right?
Yeah.
So that's my thought. If it kind of stagnates and there's nothing here in October, then I could understand a delay a little bit. But my personal thought process is, if we continue to see this growth, why not push that out and say, all right, let's keep going and keep this up and run with this? Because if it comes to February and it's like, all right, well, October, November, December was sick and we had a great uptick on crypto and kind of died out in January and February, but here's Killer Whale season 2. That's my thought, which is absolutely no technical analysis whatsoever of any crypto market or anything, and that's just me, what I'm thinking. So yep.
Sure. No, I like getting your take on that. I am like, I'm split myself.
Yeah.
Because on one hand, I see people that like responded in the Telegram and they're like, so is it basically like one season per year? Like, is that like, I didn't think that, I thought we were trying to do like 2 a year,
Right.
because it was kind of like, that was the frequency. And with them saying that like Killer Whales is the main focus and they're not really focusing on kind of other products as well,
Sure.
that doesn't seem frequent enough for a main, like, this is what we're doing, then this is what we offer. So I get that, and I was like, yeah, like that makes sense. Like, I think, to your point, I think what they probably, like, where we're at right now, I think, I don't know. I'm always a person where it's like, crypto moves fast. Like,
Right.
don't wait for the market. Make your own moves, because there are current like cryptos right now that have a huge market cap right now,
Right.
in the current status of things, that like you can get to there, and then sure, if the crypto market balloons, people are going to look at your chart and see, oh, hey, they just did this. Whereas if we wait for the market, they're going to look at our chart and be like, yeah, it doesn't really make sense when all these others have kept building, kept releasing,
Right.
and they have that track record. So there's that side of me. And then there's the other side of me that's like, well, now that we're here, we might as well wait. Like, we might as well wait till it's as favorable as possible for the release of season 2. But I think the side that does win out is the side that's like, I would rather have season 2. Like, I don't know truly what has gone into like the production of it and all that stuff. But I remember, I think it was Paul saying they had episodes 1 and 2 like a couple, like few months back, right? And so I was kind of like, oh, this is definitely then trending. I think we did a stream saying definitely trending for like the Q3, maybe if not Q4 release of,
Right.
of things. So I'm kind of split between the two. I'm kind of like, I think if we release season 2 and maybe we were filming in September or February and March, like that's also great marketing that capitalizes on the season that was just released.
Right.
Right. And then we can maybe release the next season in summer or right after the summer, and then we get 2 kind of in the 9-month span, which would be pretty good. So that's kind of where I probably am more so in that camp than the waiting, because I think when you wait and you're always kind of like, I'm waiting on external factors,
Right.
there's a whole lot that you can control just by doing what you do and doing it well.
Right.
And so I'm probably a little bit more in that camp if I'm being honest, but I do understand the reasoning behind it, and like that they don't want to rush a product, that they do want to
Yeah.
make sure they get the marketing out to CH's point, and all that stuff too. Kevin, enjoy. Tell your son hi from us. So, he's putting his bed to son, his son to bed over there. Hello, saying waiting for February 2025 for season 2. Yes, and I think again, it's nice to have like, okay, we understand what that looked like when we had to build up to February and March, and it wasn't a bad thing if we're talking
Right.
like looking at the charts, right? Piff saying agreed, Finn. Yeah, if all will be based on what Baum replied, we are in a win-win pole position per the overall market regarding both politicians. So again, like regardless of anyone's stance, like this way or that way, I think the big thing is for me, because I was like, oh, are they referring to like a certain politician's stance on this? But I think the truth is, yeah, if anyone has seen recently, that news has dominated crypto or crypto X or crypto Twitter or what have you
Right.
in like even recent months. So you can imagine
Yeah.
leading up to the election and then shortly thereafter, it's going to be dominated. So I do think that that's a good move there. Next question we have here. Oh, go ahead.
I was
Tom.
just gonna say real quick on that too, though. Like you're saying, if we're consistently like, oh, season 2 is coming out November. Also, we're doing some new stuff with the arcade. Filming starts on February, March, April, whatever that looks like. That part for season 3. We've already got some projects lined up that you're gonna start voting for. If it was just a consistent flow, though, I think that's totally fine, and I think that helps as like an overall like that's more what we're okay with, and more like, yeah, we're just dude, Hello doesn't care about the market. Like, we are consistently moving and going. Have the market catch up with us, which is hard to say, and I don't know if it's doable, but I think that's
Yeah,
where
I agree with you though. I
projects
agree with
shine.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Like when
it's
you
more.
look at investing, sorry, real quick. When you look at
Yeah, go.
investing, you're like, okay, well, what is this company doing even when there is a downside, right? Or when there's the market's not doing well? What are they still doing? And if they're still putting stuff out, you're like, oh, well, dang, like they've got a lot in the books and they just continuously put stuff out. That's something I'm more interested in getting into, rather than like, hey guys, we're just going to wait for the market again. Like, it's, and both can be true. That's the hard part, is cuz it's behind the curtains. We don't totally know what is ready to go or what has been done. So it's hard for me to like say push it if it's not completely done. But then on the other side, it's like, as a holder though, I'm like, let's just push it and continuously get stuff out. So it's hard.
Yeah, and I think the majority of me is probably on that side, which you just said.
Yeah.
Because when people in the bull are looking at projects to invest in, like true investors, not people that are chasing a pump, which is
Right.
if we're waiting for the market, those are going to be the people, sure, we might capture them. But when we're talking sustained growth, true investors look at what projects did well in the bear in order to determine which projects to truly invest in the bull. If they just
Right.
see that, hey, we had a big uptick last bull market and now we're down, yeah, we might have another pump in the bull and then have a sell-off. What do you think? Like, that's probably going to be the format that they're expecting to follow, which is not going to lead them to really hold after we have that first uptick. So
Mhm.
that's, again, probably more in that camp than not, but I do understand the reasoning behind
Yep.
that. Piff saying, yeah, both swung our way, aka the button ready to go on Smash. Not now, but right now. So we have a couple more questions here. So I like this answer here. We had, oh, and just so you guys know, hold on, I had it, but then I lost it. Oh, with exchanges, Sanders said having loads of conversations, it's not a matter of if, but when. And so I think with
Hey.
that being the case, it would be awesome to see, hey, if this, then this, right?
Yeah.
If we get here to this point, we're ready to press go on this. Like, when
Yeah.
we get here, if we get here, then we do this. And I think that's kind of what, like, people, generally investors, right? They want to see kind of that, hey, what are our plans to scale this? My wife and I just watched an episode of The Office, and it's
Here we go.
oh my goodness. So I don't know. You actually watched that show. We've talked about it
Yes.
before. So there's an episode on the extended version we're going through. We haven't seen it before. So we're going through the thing, and it's where Ryan gets them to all invest in his company Woof, right? The messaging platform, and they're all sitting in a conference room and they're saying, "What is your plan? Like, what is your plan? Just tell us what your plan is." And you can see it on his face; he has no idea like what to do to right the ship or correct it. But I think that like encapsulates a thing that like community members like they're like, we know there's a plan, so we don't feel like they did in that scene. But like, what is the like? Just what is the 3-step process? We get here, this happens. We get here, this happens. We get here, this happens. And like, I think that's why roadmaps are really important to see. Like, oh no, it's all good. Like, we know where we're heading. We know where we're going. We know the order that things are going to unfold, and we're not like, what's coming next? Because typically when you invest in something, you're investing in it based on future value being greater than present value. So if we're doing things in the future, what are those things, right? What's up, Hassan? We got Hassan in the house here. So another cool thing that I think they said here was they talked about utility, and they talked about specifically current utility as well as future utility for the token, which that was on my list. I think that was probably one of the greatest questions that could have been asked to be addressed. And the answer was, of course, there's the current gaming utility, which you're experiencing right now. We talked about the leaderboard. If you're not playing, get on that leaderboard because there's a lot to be won there. But secondly, voting utility for projects to get on the show, right? So you have one that's a little bit more perennial and you've got one that's a little bit more cyclical. I think what a lot of us were saying, right? The future token utility, it'd be awesome to have like year-round utility through an ecosystem that maybe had a lot to do with gaming, but also connected different layers. And so this was the answer for future utility. Sanders said, we've been talking about this a lot. We introduced the burn mechanism, which makes it deflationary, and we can't announce anything concrete, but we can say that we have a very broad plan to add a whole list of token utilities to the Hello token. We might or might not come along with a new vision for gaming, more on the show, and more on the projects applying to be on the show, and as well as technology investing in or making trading easier, which
interesting.
So I have to say, we typically don't drop a ton of names on this, but like I have to say, when it comes to making trading easier and like connection of liquidity, because we have like, I'm going to give a community a quick shout out here, PawChain. Like, I think that solves a very big issue of making trading easier when you don't have multiple contract addresses. Because I go in my wallet all the time and I find like, oh, this is on Ethereum. Like, do I bridge over to BNB to do for my trading wallet, or do I not bridge to BNB and then you have all these fees that you have to pay?
Right.
So I don't know if they can work out like a partnership there or even solve it themselves to where it's not needed. But I think that is a huge thing, like, because we were talking about like the bridge is kind of like our own Hello exchange. If we can get something like that worked in, or even end up, I don't know, ourselves on the Paw exchange, I think, PawChain, I think that is a cool thing to just like look at, to where you don't have to like swap it out, go to the bridge every time, which it's a great bridge that we've created. But if that was kind of behind the scenes, and then on the user experience was really easy and it was all coming from the same liquidity pool, so it didn't need to be separately like filled.
Right.
Because we have three bridges, right? Essentially, we're on Sol, we're on Ethereum, and we're on BNB. I think they're talking about adding even another one there, and I just think like consolidating these to make it a little bit of an easier experience, especially when we're talking about adding new users that might not necessarily be as crypto savvy. It's probably best to keep that stuff behind the scenes and make the user experience like, here's the one address that you have to like use. Here's the one token address. Don't worry about like people reaching out to you with these different addresses, if they're big 4 addresses to worry about, like that kind of a thing. So I'm interested to see what they mean by at making that process easier. But I love the fact that there's a plan to add additional utility to the ecosystem. I know we've just been throwing like utility ideas out there. I would love to just maybe we should just compile a list and send that in. I think we did that a while back, but I think maybe we should update that and send that over for sure. We have BDE saying 2 seasons every year will be great. Regardless of the market's conditions, people want to know more about projects in bear markets. Remember, people like to be entertained. 100%
Yep.
Bomb. 100% agreed with Bomb on that. And yeah, I think that Bomb made a great point. Like, again, the building in the bear is really what you want to see, projects that aren't just reserved to the bull market and like, hey, we got to wait for the bull market for things to be announced in this project or things to be released. And Hello, we know by nature and by design, like look at the past 3 months. Look at all the things that Hello has released and announced is coming in the past 3 months. So I think a follow-up there would be, awesome to see, like, hey, this thing that we announced, Hello World, it's coming expected in this quarter. Because like
Yep.
I haven't heard anything about Hello World, and like I don't even know if it's still in queue. Like
Yeah.
I don't know. So I think something like that to where we can, yeah, I'm actually putting that down. Like in terms of the roadmap, this is like a sub bullet point on that I think those kinds of questions, because we know based on Sanders' response there, they're investing more in the Hello Arcade and building that out, the
Yep.
gaming utility, and kind of returning to that. So I think that's just a good sign, because I think gaming is huge. I think if they can incorporate a little bit more of, we keep going, I don't want to sound like a broken record, but Dave and Buster's, the feel of like you step into an arcade and the arcade has an area where you can watch clips, an area where like it's that virtual feel, like you step inside something. The website has a video clip of like the doors open and you can like,
Right.
click on whatever you want to click on. Exclusive access room only if you have this NFT. Exclusive access to this only if you hold X amount of tokens. Like, dude, I gotta say, if I held, X million tokens in Hello and it took 500,000 to enter a room, I'm like,
I gotta do what I gotta do to get up there.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
I think that's just kind of how, like, I don't know if it's human nature or just like, hey, I don't want to be on the outside. Like, if drops came, can you imagine? Like, if things were announced first in that room and then they were shared like 30 minutes, an hour later, like, come on, right? Like,
yeah,
that's where I think you start to capture, like, dude, I want to get that exclusive access. I want to, or like, when it came to like on community spaces, like the questions that it's almost like a super fan or super vote or whatever. Like the people that got heard from first, or like the people that got to boost their things, were the people that held the most of the tokens, right?
Yeah.
And their votes counted for times 10 in the polling or whatever. Like something like that, right? I don't know. That could just be me. But what are your guys' thoughts on that? I want to hear what you guys have to say.
I was gonna say, like, we've been saying that for a long time, but I think with the way things are getting run right now is completely, not complete, but like it's pretty counter to how it was being run, and I think that stuff is more like, I kind of like that. Like they're on that path, if you will, of like, that's kind of a good idea. I like that. Let's like run with that. Like, how can we implement this? Which is really neat to see from like as community members, that this is something that they're looking at and being like, oh, that's not a bad idea. Like, let's implement that somehow, right? And I think they will, because that is again, you look at tokens. If you're holding 400,000 and there's an exclusive thing at 500,000, I'm gonna do what I need to do to get to 500,000, right? Like, yeah,
100%.
And I think it'd be really neat to see, like, okay, we have like 130 that have that much. So do you want to join that percentage of holders that only have like, or that are above 500,000? Like,
oh, and there's this other room under construction for the million token holders.
Right.
That's going to release in 1 month.
And then exclusive NFT holders. This is some separate thing. This is for you guys to like. But here's the question.
Yeah.
What do you have enough, or what do you have that you could put in those rooms? Is the real question.
What do you mean? I think if it was just simply the new announcements would get announced there like an hour before it was announced other places, because I think what you want to see is you want to start to see like I think people generally like to be like, hey, I want to have the tea. I want to be first
Sure.
to the know. And then the team, of course, are going to release it anyway. But like typically people want to be part of. I mean, exclusivity is everything that gives an NFT value, in my opinion. Beyond the actual utility of an NFT, all NFTs cross market. The big thing that they all hold in common value is the exclusivity. Hey, I hold this. Oh, what do you hold? Like I have that. Oh, no way, you have, like, it's like a digital trading card, right?
Right.
So it's that exclusivity that it carries with it, and I think if you had a visual representation of that exclusivity, that's huge. Like you have your own separate chat where you can move over to on the website, and when you connect your wallet, it grants you access to that. You've got your own news or updates that you get there first, or like again, super votes for questions to be addressed at the Hello community spaces, super votes on the judges, on the projects on the show. All that stuff I think carries weight, and it
Yeah.
gives value to something that otherwise, like outside of it, like if you don't play the games and you hold an NFT, like why do you hold an NFT, right? If
Right.
you hold the token and the token doesn't have utility, why do you hold the token, right? So I
Right.
think those things as those are built into the ecosystem, the more can be added, the more, no, like it's the same thing with Bitcoin on the grander world stage. The more things that like people are buying homes now with Bitcoin, and it's like
Right.
it's a true peer-to-peer currency, and like people that were trying to, oh no, you can only really trade this stuff, you can only trade this stuff, like even the normies are looking at this and they're like, oh my goodness, like this is truly like its own store of value, its own, like this is its own financial industry that
Yeah.
has emerged. People that were saying, oh, Bitcoin is just a scam, or it's this or it's that. So I think that building that into the Hello ecosystem, beyond just, hey, on a show you can vote, or you can vote for the projects to get on the show, but then, because I talked to other whales in Hello when this was big, like hundreds of millions of market cap, and just on side, like dialogues through messaging and all that stuff. And a lot of the things that I heard in recurring kind of conversation was, there's no need for me to hold right now. Like I don't
Right.
feel like there's a need for me to hold until season 2 comes around. And like I get it. Like I don't know what to like. There's like the future value maybe, but or you can play the game right now. But I think that's what the team is set out to solve, is in between these hype cycles with the show coming out, what can we do to make full-blown utility across the ecosystem? And it's cool that Sander answered that. It's pretty general, pretty generic at this point, but that there is a broad plan to add a whole list of token utilities to the Hello token that accomplishes that through the new vision in gaming as well as the show. So
Yeah.
gonna watch that space there. They also did bring up that what the community can expect from the gaming arcade, as well as like building that out. And then there was a question about the burn, if the burn would stop if we were listed on a tier 1 exchange, which I, again, good question.
Yeah.
And he said, so the burn will not stop because the burn is not based on the buying or selling of the token. It's based on the token usage in our ecosystem. So like using the
Oh,
games,
interesting.
like other
Okay.
stuff like that. So it's not going to be affected, which is great for anyone that really, appreciates the burn there. And then I have to say, this is something that I never thought I would be saying this
Here we
related
go.
to this project. I never thought I would. After it existed years ago, but I never thought I would be able to say this.
Wow. I'm just gonna say I
Question
can't
was
believe I stayed
asked-
alive. Please.
Yeah, how did you make that jump?
I don't know. I was like, oh, dang it.
I've never been able to make that jump once you're down there, like getting back up on top of that wall. That was impressive. The question was asked about staking.
And I didn't get that far.
Staking was a yes. Like, staking is coming. He answered specifically, we're looking to create a new dynamic into this, a lot more interesting from a community perspective. It's at the very top of our list, getting this implemented into our ecosystem. So you want to talk utility? Boom. If this can have a new take on staking, okay, here's what I got to say. Staking plus exclusivity equals, like, if you can do that and you can integrate that into an ecosystem, I think that alone is utility beyond, I think, any utility that Hello's had to date. If those two things can be accomplished.
If
like,
there's staking,
that would transform, because again, if there's a reward for holding X amount of tokens, or hey, your staking rate goes, it's not based on the exact amount, but it's based on if you hit 500,000 tokens, your staking rate is this, or if you hit 1 million tokens, your staking rate is this. Like, there's loads that can be done there, and I don't want to get into the specifics or like say, hey, this can happen or that's going to happen.
Here's what I was going to ask real quick. This is a stupid question, and the people that are here will have grace with me on this question. Why, and it's probably just because I'm a stupid investor, why is there so much freaking hype around staking? Is it just because the money is working for you? Is that really what it is? Like, it's just you're getting an investment back?
What do you think? Anyone here is an investor.
100%.
Investing in future value, and if your money starts making you money, I don't know. For me,
so
I'm like,
no, 100%. I love that, but like,
yeah.
So it's just pretty much you stake, and then a percentage of all the buys and sells, and that's like how it gets put back in, right? And that's just what it is.
So
it could be anything.
Build the pool, yeah. They can a litany of different ways.
And with staking, I believe this was back. Didn't they have this for Doge Dash like a long time ago?
They did. The staking rate was crazy.
Yes, but it's the same thing with. It's the same thing with other projects though, where it's like they're locked, and then it takes a process or time to unlock them. Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yes.
Perfect. Then let's get it hooked up. I'm ready.
Yeah. So I mean, but they're talking again. The concern was around, laws in the U.S. about securities,
right? Which is interesting
because I don't want to cast shade in anyone's direction, but
sure.
Defining a security became about as difficult as defining a deity. Like, this was just ridiculous. People were kind of like, so is this a security? Is this a security? And like, the answers go from humorous to like really sad really quickly, because it's like, at first you're laughing and then you're like, wait a second, this is who is getting arrested for this crime, and this can't even be defined. Like, what? How does that happen? Come on, people.
Yeah.
Get it together. But anyway, there was a recent one about like, is a baseball card a security? Is a baseball ticket into Yankee Stadium a security? And like, any possible definition that you could, have for X thing also applies to Y thing. So anyway,
right.
I don't want to go down a rabbit hole. You'll get me burrowing through tunnels all day. So anyway, BD saying staking shows up for long-term holders. Yeah,
I do like that.
That's the big thing and I think
that's true. That's
that
good.
likens back to what we were talking about, the season 2 and season 3 releases, right? Those are the people that we want as a project to accommodate and attract, right? We don't want to attract the people that are only interested in Hello if it's part of a hype cycle and they could see a 4x in the next month, right?
I like this.
Are those people that we can get and that we want to get? Yes, but they're not people that we should build our project release dates around, right?
Yes.
That's just my thought. I think,
and
you guys could disagree with that. That's okay. But I think that when it comes to like a project should be so much more than like market conditions. It should be so much more than, hey, is the greater market in a bull market, or are we going to wait 6 months to release something that's ready now? Like, those are things that like I think about, and I'm like, I would rather this than that. And I'm split again, but I think the majority of me is on that side. But anyway.
But
go ahead, Bob.
I think it's so neat that like you look at the people in this chat and the people that are the majority of people in Telegram and XYZ, all that stuff. The majority of people that are still here have been here since like day one. And that's always something that's said in chat, like, oh, well, I remember my Doge Dash days, blah, blah, blah. Like, having staking really, like, solidifies, like, no, these people, they believe in this project. Let's reward these people and give them that because they've been with us so long and they're choosing to continue to stay with us. So, like BDE is saying, like, it shows long-term holders. I think that's really cool. And, I mean, hey, if we can make it happen and it happens, I think that's amazing. And then you're able to go into certain rooms like you're talking about arcade wise. That's big time. That is big time. I'm excited about that.
I think that's a huge thing. And Piff is saying work smart, not hard. It's like a CD. So for those of you that don't know, a CD is a certificate of deposit.
So it's a music. Like what?
Oh my goodness. No, it's like your bank. So your bank will offer, there's like basically like a high yield savings option typically, which is like a CD, which in many cases it can be liquid or illiquid, and it's generally tied up for a certain amount of time. Like I've done them before, like a 10-month CD or something like that, like share certificates and things like that. And what basically happens is regardless of like you might want to take it out, but then you get hit with the penalty. So what you've made so far is lessened. And so it's kind of like an encourage, okay, I'll keep it in there, even though the market might be going crazy or it might be dipping a little bit, like there's that incentive to hold it in there. So
I like that.
Yeah, I think that adding that in some way that is fitting of the ecosystem, if they can do it, like I thought it was so funny because everyone started talking about that in the Telegram, and so people were typing staking in the Telegram, and then Rose, the automated bot, was responding like, hello does not support staking, and then people were replying to Rose like, Rose clearly was not participating in the Hello community space because
that's so good.
So, yeah, that was pretty classic. But yeah, I think a lot of exciting things. A lot of exciting things came out of that Hello community space. I'm probably happiest that it happened, more so than any of the answers in Clarity, which there were plenty of answers in Clarity. But I think just the fact that it happened and they're prioritizing it happening going forward got the community pretty stoked, right? And I think continuing that, I think really I would love to see a greater frequency on them than 4 weeks, but I get that Sanders like traveling the world to, share hello with the masses.
Right.
But that would be something that I think would be pretty cool if that could happen. BD saying, let's get Finn and Bomb to host every season like America's Got Talent hosting. Hey, we're here. Use us, team, however you see fit, or not at all if it doesn't make any sense. But we are willing to do just about anything for
like
Hello,
a dance.
so.
Are you gonna do the dance? I don't know if you've seen Twitter in the past couple of hours, but are you gonna do a dance?
What is the dance? What is this thing?
You better check your notifications on Twitter. That's all I'm gonna. I can actually pull it up after this.
Boy.
This.
Oh boy. All right.
Hello Labs responded to Andrew Tate's thing, and I believe they tagged us. So yeah, where is it? Right here.
Hold on, let me see here.
Andrew Tate, give my attention a little
pump.
Send it to dancing, best one wins. All right, which community member is putting themselves on the line for this one?
See this. Oh, this is new.
That's why I started with the dance, and that's why Kevin said that, because he was going to record it.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well then use it. Use it.
I don't know if that's good enough dance.
No, that's definitely not, but I think that is great. Oh boy. Yeah, there we go. Oh, I like that, BD, saying that's why we say I have stake in the game. Yep, I have a stake. Like a steak. That's definitely not one of my hidden talents, is what Sanders saying. I say, yeah, we gotta. This is great.
Might have to get on that right there.
We gotta do something there. Give the bags a little pump. Tim saying this should be easy for our legends. Been started off. Isn't it crazy, guys? We started the stream with no idea that tweet existed, or at least I did.
I did. That's why I started with the dance. I'm not gonna lie.
But we did the same dance last week.
No, but I was standing up and I was actually involved in it, and I really, I went all out. Pretty well, that wasn't all out. But
You went all out, huh? That was that.
that was me going all out, folks. Yep.
Well, you heard it here. You heard it here and saw it here first, I guess, folks.
Yep.
But anyway, we've been on for an hour. We wanted to do just a quick recap, but it turned into a more of a long form recap, which is good.
Yeah.
We like that stuff. It's always good to have a little bit more of a dialogue. I like what you guys are saying. I think Hello World, the roadmap, merch, and consistent marketing, the game plan there. I jotted those down, so we'll make sure we compile that list and send it in. And then Kevin, I know Kevin's is putting his son down, but if we could get like a poll or something like that in the Hello Telegram, I think that would be great to just like in order we can address these things. And if the team wants to respond in Telegram just to the questions, like
can you imagine?
4 weeks happens, awesome. Like I think that's great. If we can get kind of that, I think that'd be a good format too, to just make sure that like that stuff gets answered. In addition to the spaces, I think both is good. But I mean, we've been on for a little bit. We can disband so that Bomb can get back to trying his best in this game and hopefully not dying.
All I'm going to say real quick, guys, I've been playing for not even an hour, and I'm already in 17th. So, I mean, you think about that, 800 tokens. If you look at the price of how much I'm spending, probably a little bit around 800 tokens. I mean,
wow. That's crazy.
If y'all aren't playing the game, try to do it, learn it, watch it, and be able to get there, because this is for 1 hour out of your week to make this amount of the money. I mean, like, it's kind of just like I was just playing while we were talking about it. Like, it's not that big of a deal. So great stuff there.
100%. Well, how about some words of wisdom before we go on our way, and obviously clip the dance and post it under that thing, I guess. I guess that's what's going to have to happen or something. If Kevin hasn't done it already. I don't know. I don't
what?
know. Okay. Yeah, I guess we can clip it. We'll do it, guys.
Yeah, might as well, really.
Only for you.
All right.
Only for you.
Let's get these words of wisdom going, and then
let's get these words of
wisdom
and send them on their way, Bomb.
Here we go, folks. Look at that. Killer whales, really. Hi. All right. I actually love this words of wisdom right here. Here we go. Let me stop the music real quick for this. This needs to be really important here. Fries or salad? That about sums up every adult decision you'll ever have to make. There you go. Fries or salad?
What does that mean? I don't even know what that means.
Wow. Okay, well, let me explain it to you, Finn. Fries or salad? There's a healthy option and there's not. Your life is going to be determined on, are you going to want to stay with the fries, or sometimes you're going to be getting the salad? Are you going to go with a healthy project, or are you going to go with a quick one that tastes good at the time for maybe like 10 seconds? That's the real question. So you got to think and ask yourself, Finn, are you a fries or salad kind of a guy this weekend? There you go.
That was very well explained for
Thank you.
Something that didn't make any kind of sense at all to me. I appreciate it. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. It's good to be on with you guys. Another great one from Bomb. Another banger, BDE is saying over here. We will see you guys next time. We hope you guys have a great weekend. And Bob, if you are out there and listening, please drop your token address so we can get you your tokens. We have you added to the Discord now, so you reach out there. I messaged you on Discord. I've checked all of my areas: YouTube, Twitter, Discord, all the things, Telegram. Just if you could send over your token, Addy. I probably wanted to give you these tokens more than anyone that's ever won in the past.
I love that.
So please help me help you. Help me help you. We want you to have those tokens, Bob.
Hashtag 300
got-
mil.
300 milli. 300 milli. The best part, words of wisdom. Great one, Bomb. Brilliant. And
Thank you.
gotta end on that. Gotta end on a high note. So we'll see you guys next time. Until then, have a great weekend, and we'll see you next weekend.
See you
See
later.
y'all.